This video is sponsored by the Daily Bugle. It's hip, it's now, it's wow, and how. My love for lesser known supervillains knows no bounds, and it seems others out there share my passion. The last video's comment section was absolutely riddled with suggestions of unsung supervillains, so I've decided to take another deep dive to spotlight the more obscure outlaws of New York's underworld. Welcome back to Forgotten Foes of Spider-Man. I've often thought that the 80s was a great time for Spidey. His cool new costume and his ongoing war with the Hobgoblin and the Rose gave high stakes, while character-driven issues shown us why we should care for these characters. And the first foe we have today for Peter is very 80s. He's like if Prince and Micheal Jackson did the fusion dance. From Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, Annuals 5 and 6, this is Ace. Gang violence in Harlem causes a grisly crime scene that makes Spider-Man sick to his stomach. Especially when Spidey's friend on the force, Captain Gene DeWolf, reveals it's kids shooting each other to death. Local teenage gangs, the Dragons and the Reapers, have been making Harlem their personal war zone, fighting just to stake their claim on their turf. A survivor of this bloodshed recognised two of the perps, Lorenzo Spencer and Al Weber. Weber, like Spider-Man? And Gene promises to handle it from here without the wall crawler's interference. But on his way out, Peter spots another stranger lurking at the crime scene. Sunglasses at night, this guy must be very cool. His reflexes certainly are, because he somehow spots the black-suited Spider-Man crouching in the shadows. This man in the mirror is Ace, and it seems he and the police have some history. Captain Jean is not his lover, she's just a girl who tells him, "Wear your helmet." Ace is like street punk Jesus to the local gangs. They all respect him, while hating each other. After a cheeky bit of reckless driving that would make Jeremy Clarkson blush, Ace returns to his rundown home, where we see he's got a little sister, Rosie, who he gets along with well. That's nice. The same can't be said regarding Ace's relationship with his mother though. Bedbound with worry, and I think a little bit crazy. She always asks Ace the same two questions. Was there trouble? And were you involved? And to be fair to Ace, he wasn't. Yet. But the next day, Ace gets involved when he hunts down Lorenzo Spencer, perpetrator at last night's shoot-up, and Ace's half-brother. The man Lorenzo and Al Weber shot during the gang violence has slipped into a coma, and he was the only one who saw them at the crime scene, so with no other witnesses, it's looking good for them two. The judge has no choice but to wait and see if he lives or dies, so bail is set and the two are carted off. And when the fella does die, there's no one else to testify against them. Lorenzo and Al are gonna get away with this murder because no one else knows that they were ever there, except Spider-Man and Ace. So Peter's job now is to track down Ace and have him give a statement against his own half-brother. A hard sell for the seldom speaking smooth criminal, and it'll be hard enough just finding him. You see, Ace's goons don't like people asking too many questions, so Peter and his reporter friend Joy Mercado get roughed up. They rush Joy away as they start to gang up on Peter, and before Pete can go Spidey on their asses, the hum of an engine fills the air. It's Ace. This page's boss, Ace, rushes towards Peter for a cheeky hit and run, and to keep his secret identity safe, Peter plays along by making it look like Ace hit him, even screaming out and ragdolling. Who's the real actor in this family, Mary Jane? When the coast is clear, Spider-Man takes over. Hey look, a reference to the Blaze issue we covered last time. Couldn't have planned it better myself. Spidey tracks down the Reapers to the hideout, but before he can make his grand entrance, Ace one-ups him with one of his own. Here's where things get a bit screwy. Ace has more about him than just a fashion sense. The way he moves is a bit too agile, a bit too elegant for a normal human being. Spider-Man web pulls him off his bike here, and Ace lands on his feet a bit too easily. But hey, Spidey's fought fast guys before, hasn't he? Speed Demon, Quicksilver. He should be able to handle some punk that moves like a ballerina. But something is different here. Ace seems to be dodging before Spider-Man even throws his punch, as though some sixth sense is warning Ace where to move. Ace and Spider-Man's fight gets cut short when the rival gang, the Dragons, roll up, ready to rumble. Spidey knows the gangs all respect Ace, and he pleads for him to stop the bloodshed before it even begins. But Ace refuses to get involved. Until it's too late, and in the gang war, one of the kids dies. Spidey gives Ace a good telling off for it though, even cracking out the R word. Responsibility, that R word, know what you're thinking. This time it was some gangster teen who Spidey assumes meant nothing to Ace, but next time it could be someone innocent, someone Ace loves, and Ace would be responsible because he chose to do nothing. Despite his ice-cold demeanour, Spider-Man's words do stir some emotion in Ace. After a sucker punch to Peter's face, he storms off. Straight to the police station to testify against Lorenzo. So far, Ace is kinda like some gangster messiah. All the gangs will listen to him, but he chooses not to get involved, like Peter did with that gunman that went on to kill Uncle Ben. Hopefully Ace has learned the lesson about power and responsibility in time. Let's find out in Annual 6. Go ahead Spidey, tell him to beat it. I've exhausted my Micheal Jackson puns by this point. Let's crack on with this thriller. Alright, now I'm done. That one was bad. Round 2 goes a lot better for our web-headed hero. He's absolutely slaughtering Ace in combat here, giving him the maximum spider. Whoa, geez, alright Peter, I know you're in the black suit, but calm down a bit. Ace won't fix your damn door. Thankfully, this brutal display of power was just a dream, but it does get Peter wondering why he feels such hatred towards Ace. It's because Ace gets respect from gangs, police, and the people, while Spider-Man, who only tries to do good, is a public menace at best. But Spider-Man doesn't give himself enough credit, because he was respected enough by Ace himself to heed Spidey's advice. Ace still plans to testify against the Reapers and his brother Lorenzo, which has Ace conflicted on where his loyalties lie. His inner conflict doesn't matter to the gangs of the city though, they just see Ace as a traitor. A spokesperson for the Reapers gang threatens Ace's sister Rosie, suddenly looking a lot older than last time, even though Peter said it's only been months. But if he's got a message for Ace, he can tell him himself. Ace is doing more than just grassing up his ex-pals. He's now using his abilities for good as a bodyguard for local businesses. So I guess he's not really a villain anymore, is he? Ah well, we've come this far, might as well see how it ends. Lorenzo's flapping it as he awaits his court date, and he gives permission for his lawyer to go and shake Ace up a bit, make him seem like an unreliable witness to the jury. But Ace's real enemy is Child Protective Services. With their mum a bit mental, Ace's family's been deemed unsafe for Rosie. They're trying to take her away, but Rosie's the only real family Ace has left, and he won't let her go easy. After shaking off the agent and getting back home, Ace and his mother have one final moment together before she dies, promising her that he'll take care of Rosie and Lorenzo. Is this book titled The Spectacular Ace? No mate, let's go see what Spidey's doing. The Bugle has caught wind of Ace's heroics and wants some photos, which of course leads Peter Parker back on track. And when Spidey finds out the guy he's been seething over is turning his life around, feels like a right tool. He knows his brother's trial's coming up, so Spider-Man ditches his mask and takes a pew. They're still called pews, aren't they, or is that just in church? Lorenzo gets his day in court, and Ace finally appears. But during the questioning, Lorenzo's lawyer punches below the belt. He paints Ace into a corner by claiming if Lorenzo goes to jail, Ace can take over the Reaper's gang once again, giving a motive to lie to the court. Ratty move. Talk about throwing shade. Ace's signature sunglasses proved detrimental to the case when the lawyer states he couldn't have really seen Lorenzo shooting someone while wearing them bad boys at night. Ace has been defeated by his own coolness. Ace storms out when things don't go as planned, but look here. When Peter approaches Ace, he claims to know exactly who Peter is. His Ace sense must have been tingling the whole time with Spider-Man standing so close to him. Ace's tantrum has let Lorenzo go free while the prosecution reorganises, giving Peter what he's wanted this whole story. A reason to smack the face of Ace. Peter feels a fool for believing Ace had changed, especially when he mistakes Ace taking Rosie as a child abduction. Finally face to face with Ace, and cheered on by the Reaper's gang, Spider-Man's dream becomes reality. But just like last time, no hits connect. Both of the danger sensors go into overdrive as they dance more than fight, but Spider-Man doesn't need to punch you to beat you. The web shooters come in clutch, distracting Ace long enough for Peter to actually get a punch in. Nice. Spidey justifies his brutality by believing he's doing it for the kidnapped girl Ace was taken away, not knowing Ace was just trying to keep the only family he has left. And seeing Spidey near Rosie sets Ace over the edge. Proving he could have killed Spider-Man, but chose not to, redeems Ace in Spidey's eyes, and he decides to let him go. But the Reapers aren't so forgiving. They are, however, quickly dealt with. With a new mutual respect for each other, Spider-Man and Ace part ways for the final time, with Ace disowning his brother Lorenzo and taking Rosie far away from the violent life they knew, into a hopefully peaceful future. And that was Ace. He was kinda cool when he was kicking ass, and his dilemma of betraying one family member to save the rest is compelling. No clue what his mum died of though, was it just madness? So this random dude from the streets was enough of a threat to not only stalemate Spidey, but to also theoretically kill him. So all you power level nerds out there, better have Ace high on your list, he's clearly Morlun level. I suppose we can't really bring back Ace without spoiling his exit. The whole point is that he got out of the game. But I wonder, if he's such a big deal with gangs, why didn't Hammerhead or the Owl ever try to enlist him? No origin story either. I assume he's a mutant, but I suppose we'll never know. Ace's priority wasn't money or revenge, it was family. Something he shares with the next villain on our list. The cold-hearted... Coldheart. Our next bad guy actually has something in common with Spidey as well. The fact that they're both motivated by the death of a loved one. But while Uncle Ben's death inspires Peter to be a hero, death only makes Coldheart want revenge. The adjectiveless Spider-Man, issue 49, introduces us to this frosty foe. And look, Hobgoblin's here. Love him. This story occurs during one of Peter's edgier phases. I think he's angsty over clone stuff at the moment, so he's not so sure he's even a man anymore. He is the Spider. It's not as cool as it sounds. Speaking of cool, at a secret government facility, Coldheart gears up for vengeance. I actually really like this page. I wonder why. With skin-tight armor and cryokinetic swords, Coldheart sends a chill down the guard's spines. She says here that she's worn the armor before and that it was made specifically for her, so she must have been some special forces agent at one point. This last bit is, dare I say it, cool. Coldheart's going on one last mission. She's got super-powered freaks to sanction. I am genuinely trying to focus only on Coldheart, but that's going to be hard when a villain as cool as Hobgoblin is also in the issue. I can only promise to try. And yeah, even Jason Macendale, I'm a fan of every Hobgoblin, for better or worse. Hobby's actually a key player in this story because he attacks his ex-wife and her family, trying to abduct his son, Jay, another child abduction. This kidnapping leads to a standoff with the police and Spider-Man. setting the stage for COLDHEART to take down both masked men at once. She just barges into this hostage situation, ice blade swinging, and seems to have some kind of vendetta against superpowered people in general, going so far as to call Spidey a murderer. Hobgoblin escapes with his boy, but COLDHEART claims he's next, first, for what Spider-Man has apparently done to her family. He needs to pay. Spider-Man's never met this lunatic in his life, so what the hell is she talking about? A close shave with the cryo blade tells Spidey COLDHEART isn't messing around, and she cries a bit about her motivations for hating heroes, their disregard for the innocent when they have their big flashy showdowns with villains. It absolutely does not stand up to scrutiny. Most heroes, especially Spidey, prioritize the innocent during these fights. But this lady's got icicle swords and a grudge. She won't be warming up to Spider-Man anytime soon. Peter even mentions it himself right here. She's the one holding him up from saving the Macendale kid. And COLDHEART shows her selfishness when she brings up her dead son Joey. What about Joey, she asks. See, COLDHEART's really a lady called Deseronto. And her life was destroyed when her son Joey was killed in an unspecified fight between a hero and a villain. So now she blames all heroes and all villains for the havoc their reckless battles cause bystanders. Yeah, that's tragic, but what's the alternative? Let the villain get away with it. To be fair to her though, she does seem willing to change her viewpoint when she sees Spider-Man rescue Jay Macendale. And though she has the chance to kill Peter then and there, she chooses not to. Look, I've got some good points here. She was kinda badass, her ice swords are sick, she's got a sexy look with the loose top over the tight armor thing. Sad backstory, Spider-Man needs more female villains, and an ice baddie especially isn't something often seen here. Yeah, she was very Mr. Freeze with the family aspect, but you know, that's cool. But in Marvel Holiday Special 2011, they ruin her, because COLDHEART is even more unhinged than ever, and not in a fun way. Not only has she lost the oversized gym shirt look she had, killing off her design, but also, she's taken to using mannequins as a substitute for a dead family. So now she's not just manic, she's deranged, she's demented. It's not just that she wants revenge, it's a psychosis problem now. Marvel have been weirdly shy about telling us the exact details of her son's death, probably so she can reasonably target all heroes instead of one. There's a deadly crisis every 5 minutes in Marvel's New York, so the kid could have died at literally any point. It could have been a big dramatic showdown between Captain America and the Red Skull. It could have been a one-off scrap between Speedball and the Jester. Until COLDHEART gets specific with it, we just don't know. If we were to bring COLDHEART back, there's a few easy ways to do it. She could become like Scourge from Captain America, attacking villains so savagely the heroes have to step in and shut her down. She could join the Thunderbolts now, they're kinda like the Suicide Squad. She could try to restart her life with a new fella if we're being nice. But honestly, she has no leg to stand on now, because in 2006, before the superhuman Civil War, she was present when Nitro blew up that town which started Civil War. So her moaning about innocents being killed is a bit rich now that she was involved in one of the biggest examples of it. So we've had a gangster with a heart of gold, and a mother with a heart of cold. Interesting, yeah. But what about the more clear-cut bad guys? The costumed criminals just looking to make a name for themselves? I'm so glad you asked. Strap in for the dawn of the White Dragon. Check out this guy's costume. I love him already. This is the White Dragon, leader of a gang called the Dragon Lords? No, don't worry, it's completely different from the Dragon Gang we've just seen in the Ace story. These are the Dragon Lords. The Dragon and his gang menaces New York's Chinatown through Amazing Spider-Man issues 184 and 185. And in 184, titled White Dragon, Red Death, Peter first hears Legend of the Dragons from his classmate Philip Chang, when Chang nearly karate chops Peter's head off in a panic. Local street punks, the Dragons, have had Phil on edge ever since he left Hong Kong, so they must be pretty scary. To your average person perhaps, But when Spider-Man finds some dragons smashing up an antique store, their kung fu gets hustled right out the door. But the store owner chooses not to ring the police, out of fear for the dragon's retaliation. We don't all have super strength and spider sense, so what's easy for Spider-Man might not come so easy to others, like Philip Chang. Phil opens up to Peter, revealing he didn't come to America to study. Basically, he's here in witness protection. And guess who he's hiding from? Here's a hint. He's at the door. White Dragon! He's finally tracked Phil down, and he demands the answer to a question he asked Phil long ago. Using his nostril-mounted weaponry, Dragon knocks out Chang with sleep gas and kidnaps him. Another kidnapping with 3 for 3. Luckily for Phil, Peter Parker thinks fast and plants a spider tracer on the fire-breathing felon. Look out, White Dragon. Here comes the Spider-Man. In the Dragon's darkened warehouse, we discover they're forcing Philip Chang to join their gang. When Spidey disposes of the goons with ease, White Dragon praises his technique. I love when villains give heroes some respect in battle. And White Dragon now believes that Spider-Man is a worthy foe. Look, his nostrils shoot fire, this guy rules. And clearly the White Dragon was too hot for Spider-Man to handle, as with brutal slashes of drug-laced claws, the webhead hits the floor, allowing the dragons to chain Spider-Man up for a classic Batman 66-esque death trap, hanging over a vat of oil. But the dragon is a man of honor. He offers Philip Chang one chance to save Spider-Man by joining the Dragon Lords. An offer Philip must refuse. Spider-Man's fate is sealed when Dragon ignites the oil and drops Spider-Man to his fiery demise. Excellent work, Dragon. In his debut issue, he not only managed to defeat Spider-Man in combat, but he's actually killed him too. What? There's more issues of Spider-Man after this. Peter isn't dead. This bit wasn't funny in Kill 'Em Off either. In issue 185, you shouldn't count your dragons before they hatch. Spider, Spider, burning bright, Philip Chang and Dragon White. Is this where Craven got that poem from? The oil burns from top down, you fool. The first layer of the vat will burn, yeah, but Spidey will be safe inside for a moment. And a moment is all puny Parker needs as he coats himself in his weapon and leaps free of the vat. Hey Dragon, maybe next time you've got a hero at your mercy, just shoot him. White Dragon and his gang leg it as Spider-Man takes a dive into the East River, and when things cool off, Spidey catches up with Phil again to get the full story on our karate criminals. Philip was once a street punk himself, from the toughest school in town, and he made all the wrong enemies. His parents paid the price for his roguish ways when one chucked a friggin' grenade through his window. Jesus. Swearing off of violence, Philip fled to America, but when the White Dragon discovered Phil's plight, he offered the lad an ultimatum. Join the Dragon Gang, or he tells Philip's enemies exactly where to find him. Here's the Dragon now. His failure to charbroil Spider-Man has his gang unsure of the Dovahkiin criminal, so he takes the time to remind them who is number one. Spider-Man finally catches up with the Shaolin scoundrel, and he craftily separates the dragon from his goons. They're gonna finish this one-on-one. Their final showdown begins, and look how sick this looks. Seriously, usually comic book fight scenes are kinda crap, but this is sick. It's not Vegeta vs Raccoon level, but it's pretty damn cool. Spider-Man's got the perfect power set for combat no matter who he's fighting. Super agility, super strength, and danger sense mean you could train your whole life and he'd still trounce you. White Dragon's fire breath and steel claws are useless. Dragon's final hope is his sleep gas, and he believes victory is his as the plume bursts on Spider-Man's face. But Peter came prepared. Funny how the bad guy who uses nostril weapons was defeated by nose filters. Ironic. But genuinely, White Dragon was boss. Great costume, cool powers, reasonable ambitions, and kung fu? Why do we need Mr. Negative when White Dragon's so much cooler? White Dragon deserves to be used well more. I'd absolutely rather see him rather than Hammerhead the next time there's a big gang crap going on. My only gripe is that once again we've ran into the paper doll problem of the baddie being tied to an unimportant character, even though this instance was far less severe. Dragon's debut revolves around Philip Chang rather than his own criminal schemes, and that hurts the replay value a little bit, but you can easily separate the two. Did you notice the part when Dragon said he didn't wish to drug Spider-Man, and then in the very next panel, he drugs Spider-Man? I'd like to think that's why the Dragon ultimately lost his duel. He was dishonourable. But hey, he's a villain, he's meant to be. It's easy as hell to bring him back as well, just have his gang rough up Chinatown again, or they could have a gang war with the demons. Anything could do. My favourite of these three is White Dragon, clearly. But the other two weren't stinkers either, if I'm honest. We had a more broader sense of the word villain this time around. Ace only did what he did to protect his family, and COLDHEART didn't see herself as the bad guy whatsoever. I do still believe there's no truly bad ideas for a villain. In fact, dare I say, these three were pretty good. I wonder if I'll ever find a bad guy that'll change my mind. What other forgotten foes should I take a look at next? Don't limit it to Spider-Man either. I want to do a Batman one, but mostly as an excuse to talk about the Eraser. I love his design. Comment who you want to see, and I'll crack on with it. Cheers.